Good morning, Rogersville. You're back with the waffle.
Morning.
Good morning.
We just got some tragic news.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Lauren,
The press release.
I don't know the
Read
details.
the presser.
we don't know the details yet.
Sam's Club on East Sunshine is closed.
Temporarily.
Until the 1st for cleaning.
You should have let that hang for a little bit.
For
It's
cleaning.
closing. It's
For
closing.
It's closing.
For a day and a
cleaning.
half.
For a day and a half for cleaning. Yeah. Then it'll be back open again.
Dun, dun, dun.
We don't know why they need to clean it.
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't really think about that, but
I can go to the article.
That's been the hubbub. Like, is it coronavirus related?
I bet it's staffing related.
Staffing related?
I bet
which
they don't have staff.
indirectly is coronavirus related.
Is it though?
Isn't it?
Well, is it though at this point?
But didn't it kick it all off?
Well,
We didn't.
I think that the coronavirus. I think it's a few steps back.
Okay,
because
well that's fair. It was like
because I think that
a watershed moment.
well, it was that a lot of people took advantage of to seize power and do some shenanigans with their economy and
control.
Communists.
Well, we kicked this off with a bang.
That's what we were talking about.
Started with a
before we
public
came
service
on air.
announcement with, hey, if you got an order at Sam's Club East.
Yeah, it's just be advised.
We're straight
I guess
into-
I could actually look at the article, but I'm
Communists
not
are
going to.
shutting it down.
I don't really.
Conspiracy theories.
I don't really need more information about it. I just need to know that I'm going to have to delay getting trash bags.
I have a pickup order today.
I wonder if you can pick it up.
Is it closed today?
Yeah, today.
Dang.
You have an East Sunshine
Oh.
Yeah.
pickup.
Oh.
I wonder if it can be transferred over
I
to
just
the
got a message.
south
You got
side.
I just got a message.
From Sam's.
No.
Is this Sam's related?
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, I did. It was Sam's. somebody sent me a text message. It was like, I've got some details.
Oh. Can we share it?
Staffing.
It is staffing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I guess, they've got to text me when my order is ready.
Well, that's, yeah.
And I'm assuming I'm not going to get that text.
Will forever is waiting for the text.
my text.
Where's my
I
order?
wonder, though, is the
Where are
store
my cheese
closed?
balls?
But I wonder if they can still gather items and text you that it's ready for
Well,
pickup.
we'll find out.
That'll be interesting.
We'll have an update.
I'm telling
an
you,
update.
this is a whole new world.
I mean, it's just like 2 cases of Diet Coke and 2 cases of regular Coke.
You don't need that anyway. It's going to kill you.
Oh, you'd be surprised what I need.
It's going to kill you. Good morning, Beth.
Drink
our
more
loyal
coffee.
follower.
Yeah, there's Beth.
Beth, I'm guessing we still need to get your Daisy print. For
You're
some
Daisy
reason,
if
that
you do.
reminded me in the middle of the night.
Somebody's been goofing with my machine here. Just look at that. That's not the way my comments are supposed to show up. They're supposed to be over there.
Dun,
And it's supposed to be
dun,
nice and
dun.
So that old
We do that in our
grumpy
house a
old man
lot.
can read it.
big. Yep.
Me and the girls. Dun, dun, dun.
I see, that
all the
sounds like
time.
fun.
That does sound like fun.
What's an occasion you do that for?
Everything.
Anything like news?
Anything interesting.
New,
if we see
interesting.
something like that squirrel's on that line. Dun, dun, dun.
I want to hear
love
Clara do that.
It's funny.
But it's hilarious.
Larger than life.
That's good.
When Claire
Yes.
does it.
I was a little late today. Because Clara was on a different planet. She
oh my
was
goodness.
coasting into the day. And I was like, we gotta go. And we had
The
one
mom
of those,
rage was.
Yeah. We had one of those all-female dominated fights yesterday, where there's just too much females going on in the room. And I'm sure that happens with other people too. But yeah, I was like, can you guys just be nice to me? That's what I told them.
Early
be
this
nice to
morning,
me.
I had to fight the parent rage as well. So we have an aging dog, an 11-year-old chocolate lab.
Aw.
Yeah, and so she's been having some bladder issues, and so we bought her diapers.
Oh,
Yeah,
good
she's
diapers.
sleeping in diapers. So, so one of my children, whose name will we'll just leave that out of the mix. First thing, barely awake, walks downstairs, lets the dog out with the diaper still on. So, dog goes outside like, well, I guess I'm going in my diaper. Child whose name remains nameless goes, oh, runs over, pulls the diaper off. Well, it's already a mess. So now dog needs bath. And it's like,
poor
come
dog.
on. It's barely 6 a.m.
And we've got poopy diapers.
Well,
We're past this.
it wasn't poopy,
Well,
but
that's good.
nonetheless, it was like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's bad enough. And she's looking like, I hate wearing this. And now you're going to make me go in it?
No, I gotta go outside the diaper. Aging
man.
dogs are such a difficult thing.
Oh, it's yeah.
My mother-in-law had to put down one that
Just
shit for
stop.
14
Just
years.
stop. Okay, 14.
14, yeah. 14.
I looked at that dog yesterday and I said, "You keep living for at least 3 more years. I need you to get all 3 of my kids through high school.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need this going on."
Yep.
So
It's tough.
she's our unofficial therapy dog.
It's
For all
tough.
5 of us.
For all 5 of us.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that pet out there. It's their buddy.
Absolutely. So
good stuff.
anyway, yeah, parent rage I was like, "What are you?"
Yeah, we had a rage.
Bring it down.
Well,
Bring it down.
especially with young kids, and I don't know, this may be true with older kids, the Halloween to Christmas is a tough time with young kids.
No, when they're teenagers, it's just 12 months of the year.
Okay. Because
Right, Will?
they're
Kind of is. Yeah.
they're overstimulated with fun and sweets, right?
That's true. I remember those days.
The little kids, and they lose their minds.
Remember, my wife's a school teacher, elementary.
Yeah, she's taught both of mine. So it's like they just lose their minds. They go completely off the reservation. Like,
Here's what happens with the teenagers. So get ready for this.
oh no,
is,
I'm scared.
They're like okay kids, they're good kids, and even if they're teenagers, not that they're not,
They're still good
They're
kids.
still good kids, but you just sort of have these moments where you look at them and go, "What?
What?
What were you thinking?"
Is there an off switch on your brain?
And
what?
yeah, and what's with the attitude?
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, where'd that come from? I mean, we liked each other, and now you're treating me like I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're the idiot.
We liked each other.
It's like, why don't...
Oh man.
Yeah, there's just some interesting logical disconnects that will occur.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is. Because, I mean, when you're a teenager, I distinctly remember thinking I was an intelligent adult.
Yeah, you weren't.
And
Yeah.
then
None of
later,
us were.
No, that's the
no,
epiphany
and then
you
later
have
I'm
later.
like,
You go,
that was stupid.
Yeah.
You hit about
you want to call
30
mom and dad and apologize.
32.
Yeah.
You hit about 32, or maybe 28, depending on the person.
Maybe
and you're
45.
Like, and you're like, oh, I was so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I thought I was so smart.
Thought I had it all figured out.
What was the... Yeah.
That's part of the process.
It is.
It's
Yeah,
all
it is.
part of the process.
Good
There's
morning,
Emma.
Emma.
Emma's here.
Hey, Emma. Emma hooked me up yesterday with
that
some
right?
greenery and straw. Such a random combination.
Greenery and straw.
Yeah, I need straw for grass seed and greenery for Christmas
Oh, okay.
decorating.
There you go.
Well, I caught the greenery. I assumed it was Christmas decoration, but then you threw in straw, and I thought, well,
What?
we're out of that season. We cleaned that up.
Yeah,
It's for the manger.
Yeah.
put it in the back of the
Straw for the manger. That's right.
it's baby Jesus on my front,
Get
on my
rid of
front
the
yard.
get rid of the pumpkins. Right. It's
Yeah.
time to get rid
Yeah.
of the pumpkins.
Oh yeah, because somebody got rid of pumpkins night before last on Maple Street, smashed them again, and ding dong ditched at 1:40 a.m.
Your place?
Not my place. My pumpkins were gone. They hit Maple, and then the guy posted it, and then debate sparked on Facebook about whether it's
I
kids
saw
being
it.
kids.
I scrolled on.
It's kids being kids, or if it's the end of the universe or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And there's always a 50 comment debate on these posts. And I finally got irritated and commented, like, the point of the post is just to let people know it's happening.
Right.
And every time there's a debate about the kid will be kid thing, which is all fine until something happens.
Right.
And
Wait. You mean
Somebody
kids
gets-
don't know where the line is?
Yeah. Well, and I'm like, there's
We
like
covered that.
how many high profile criminal cases happening right now
Ghislaine Maxwell.
where people participated in risky behavior that went too far.
Right.
And I'm not talking about smashing pumpkins, obviously, but I mean, so my deal right now is people are pretty keyed up. They're pretty on edge. And I don't think it's a great idea to be showing up on their property at 1:40 in the morning.
That's a fair point. For the protection of your children,
Yeah.
make sure they're not doing that stuff at
Yeah,
1:40.
I-
And that's why
Yeah.
it matters that we let people know when something like that happens. Because
Yeah.
as a parent, I want to know if my kid's out being dumb. I want to address that.
Yeah.
My kids aren't out at 1:40.
Because I think most of the times,
in the
if a
morning.
parent, if you saw that, you'd probably be like, that could have been little Timmy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, that could have been, yeah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
So I think we ought to have a day on the calendar. City of Rogersville should just put it out there. It's
The
this
purge.
day. It's purge the
Pumpkin
pumpkins.
purge.
The pumpkin purge. You put them out at the end of your driveway, and we just tell the teenagers, "Have at it.
Go for it.
Smash the
Just
crap out of them.
don't do anything stupid with them.
Actually,
just smash them.
Pick them up. take them somewhere else
And smash
them,
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't really want 1,000 pumpkin vines.
Not in the
see,
driveway.
I did see a post where somebody said, "I have pumpkins. Who needs this for your farm? For your
Yeah, that lady
goats
came
or-
and got mine.
Yeah.
She came and got a whole bunch of
That's
pumpkins from
brilliant.
different people. Yeah,
I
because
never
they
even
feed
thought
them
of
to
that.
like.
I'm sure you'll be surprised to know that we
kinds of
shoot them.
critters.
Oh, I
Yeah.
would too. That's
That's guaranteed.
far more fun.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Pumpkins and tannerite. I mean,
Excellent combination. And we now start our 30-day Facebook ban.
Yeah, they went right there. We'll see you in December.
Yeah. When Sam's Club opens, we'll be back. So I don't know. I mean, it's all fine. It's all fun and games. Okay, so I'll tell myself. I went through a phase. Somebody taught me how to steal road signs. Okay.
oh gosh.
Which I'm not tall enough to do, obviously, but somebody taught me how to do it.
Built-in defense.
And
I'm
it's
sorry. I actually thought it when you said it was. How did you get up there?
It's like
We had to help Lauren into her chair
It's
every
like-
Tuesday morning.
it's like the
I know
OJ
she-
defense. Like the gloves don't fit. I'm not
do
tall
it.
enough.
I'm not tall enough. There's no way. So we went on a brief weekend terror of stealing the green road signs on back roads. This was when I was in high school, right? And we stole a couple. And then I, not long after that, heard a news story about how that can cause someone to die because 911 can't find their house. And I was like, oh, shoot.
I killed somebody.
I will never do that again. Because
Yeah.
it's one of those things, like, it seemed pretty harmless.
Right.
It's a back road. 5 people drive down it. They know where their house is. It's not like people that back in the day, you just weren't driving around on back roads unless you knew where you were.
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't think about the
Yeah,
consequences.
The ones that were most coveted were no dumping
Yeah.
signs. If you found
No
a no
dumping was
dumping
big.
sign,
That was
that's
big.
always fun. You display it by your toilet.
Yep.
And then
Every frat house.
yeah, at every frat house.
Every frat house.
And then dip. The dip sign was a
Dip.
big one. And then there was a particular number of farm road that people would
Yep.
steal.
We know what that is.
Yeah. I could never figure out why.
I don't know either.
Anyway.
Don't know. So, but yeah, and then there's funny names to some roads, and so yeah.
Yeah.
But then I realized, oh crap, there's real consequences for this.
Yeah, as a kid, you're just like, oh, that's funny.
That's
And
funny.
You forget it's actually criminal. And in some cases,
Like
dangerous.
I knew not to steal stop signs because
Right.
that seems sketchy and wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nobody's gonna miss this sign.
Nobody's gonna miss
I think
this.
it was one weekend, and I learned my lesson. So I apologize to everybody in the county.
You apologized. You issued a statement.
Issued a statement of apology. No,
Just now.
just now. Yeah. 20 some years later. Yeah.
I'm sure they all received it with glad hearts.
Well, I went and got a Costco membership.
Did you?
I did.
I like Costco
it
and
was-
Sam's both.
And we were actually trying to kill a little bit of time, and so Jack and I we said, let's go to Costco. And so we went to
I
Costco.
still haven't been.
And
It's a neat store.
it's a lot like Sam's.
Yeah.
It's like Sam's, but it's got stuff you can't find at Sam's.
I got some LED lights while I was there.
They have some neat lights.
Because after I signed up and paid for my membership, I mentioned that I am a student, a college student.
Got your student
Did you get a
discount.
student
I did. They gave me a $20 gift card.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I had
This is a
to sign up for the fancy membership to get my $20 gift card.
I didn't realize what all the student ID was going to be worth. I got into the World Expo for free. I got $20 at Costco.
Oh my goodness, because you're taking one class at
Yeah.
FTC.
And I looked, and the expiration date on the student ID is like 2026. So I'm going
Oh,
to be
yeah.
milking this
No
thing
way.
forever.
Oh, I used my Drury ID. I used my Drury ID for years.
Student ID.
And I'm like,
baby.
oh, we're going to the movie. Drury student.
OTC student right here.
I used that thing forever
Hey,
until
well,
I lost it, I think.
Given what you paid for
I
that
was-
ID,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Need to milk
I was going to say, I need to recoup my money out of this deal.
oh my goodness.
So I don't know what the government program is now because they're just throwing money at everybody except
I've
for
noticed.
like
Except
me
for
and
people that
me
need
and
it.
you.
Yeah.
Nobody threw money at
Us,
me recently.
well,
I mean, I get the child tax credit.
I'm trying
I
to
gotta
send
admit
2
that.
kids to college next year.
Well, Luke
And I
got-
lost both those college or child tax credits. the
Why'd you
year
lose
before.
them?
Because once they're 17, you lose it.
You don't have to.
Well, Don't have
That's
to.
interesting.
No, if child tax credits.
The child
tax credit.
Yeah.
That's
Thought
right.
you were going to give me some accounting
No,
hack
no,
here,
no, no,
thinking
no.
you're a lawyer. What do you know about accounting?
No, nothing. I know more about accounting than accountants know about the law. I can tell you that.
I
I'm
believe
sure
that.
that's
Heard
true.
my rant about that.
Don't even get me started on CPAs. But anyway, what they know and don't know.
I appreciate CPAs.
No, well, yeah. I'm going to shut up right now.
Insert foot and mouth. Oh, you guys had a thing about this a while back, didn't you?
Well,
Yeah.
there's a long story there. But anyway.
I can't remember what I was talking about.
Okay, we were
I
at
messed with you.
Costco
You're
and student
milking your
ID,
student
and
ID.
then government
yeah.
throwing money
Government's
at people.
throwing money at everybody. Sorry.
Luke got like his entire tuition at OTC for his class like refunded.
Really?
Yeah, from the government. Like there was something that, and I was like, I didn't get mine. He did.
Can I have my tuition?
Yeah, I didn't get my tuition back, but he did. And I'm like, well, it's like, take some more classes, man. I mean, it's just nuts that they're just, I don't know.
The child tax credit thing is kind of weird because
It is weird.
it comes in and I'm like, okay, I mean, it's obviously free money. It's not free, but.
That's why I didn't get one in November.
And I'm like.
Jack turned 17 in
That's what I
October.
got.
Yeah, exactly.
They know these things.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, so how is this bettering my kids' lives? Like,
Well, you're supposed to be spending it
Emma
on
has
them
heard my rant
for
before.
plot change.
That's awesome.
So it's a weird deal. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to do about anything.
Let me tell you, this March,
I don't know.
February, March, April, when people start looking for their refund, my money, my refund
You've
money.
already got it.
Yeah.
No, that's
when
not
it's-
true.
Well, no, when it's significantly less because
Yep.
that child tax credit,
Comes out.
it's already been given.
I talked
They're
to-
going to be, why is it so much less? Why
I don't.
is it so much less?
What I have been told is it is not already that is additional on top of the original child tax
That's not
credit.
how that's not how it's stated.
But
Now they might do that.
I know
They
it's
might
stupid.
restate it. They may do that to
Because they're going to have to
champion.
spend a lot of money to win those midterms.
That was my point. Was they
Oh,
might find a way to
gross.
make that happen, but
Yeah.
as of now, no. The child tax credit you think you're going to get back as a refund next spring has been put in your bank account all year long,
Yeah.
I
or at
know.
least from July.
That was
on.
my understanding.
That's not what
So-
the accountant said that I asked. So
Well, again,
Plot change,
What did
plot
I
change.
say about CPAs?
I don't know.
They all have different ideas about
They
what
all
it means.
have
And part of that's
different-
the IRS and their defense, right?
Well, I mean,
Because
how the crap could you stay up to date on the tax code perfectly? Just like how could you stay up to date on case law perfectly? You can't.
can't.
There's
No,
no
it's
way.
constantly
There's
shifting.
no way. You just got to do your best.
which is a real problem, but that's another conversation.
It's a whole nother show.
It is another show that
Yeah,
I'm not
I don't
equipped to step into. Just get off my soapbox.
February
So there's-
1913.
Here, let's make this happier.
February 3rd, 1913.
How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was great. I have my annual Thanksgiving sinus infection, so that I get every year. So I took a handful of ibuprofen and Zyrtec
Nice.
and went to Thanksgiving, and I was like, "Stay alive! Here we go."
I made this
It was really good.
casserole. It's been
I
sneezed
made
on.
a casserole. I know. Well, and I'm like the host. I kind of put it all together, and everybody brings stuff, and the food's wonderful. It's amazing. And we had about 35 to 40 people at the Heritage Post, and it was great. I enjoyed it very much.
My brother-in-law smoked a turkey. It was pretty good.
Good smoked turkey.
Yep. It's about my favorite way to have it anymore.
It's pretty good.
My mom made 2 types of
As
turkey.
long as you
Both
don't
were good.
dry it out.
Yep. That's you got. But if you got to
watched-
brine it ahead of time,
Yeah.
brine
Yep.
it good and put it in the smoker.
We watched Christmas Vacation after. That's our ritual.
Yeah.
And
It's a beautiful
the
tradition.
turkey.
A little dry. Oh, there's the heart.
Save the neck for me, Clark.
Indeed it will, Eddie.
So yeah, I'm getting over the. I'm in the copious amounts of snot phase now, but I
That's
feel
fun.
fine.
We did start our watch Christmas movie thing this weekend, so we watched
Good.
Scrooged, which is one of my favorites.
good one. It's a
One of
good
my
one.
favorites. Jack picked it. It is one of my favorites. Scrooged. That's
Lean away just in case that's Omicron.
Bill Murray. Little Bill Murray and
love Bill
Scrooged.
Murray.
He's
Oh,
so funny.
speaking of Bill Murray,
funny
I
dude.
watched the new Ghostbusters. Took the
Oh, I
girls.
saw you post that, and I said we were going to go on Thanksgiving night, and we didn't do it.
We
So,
really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I had a very nostalgic. I don't think I've ever quite felt this way before. I'm sitting there in the theater. The girls are watching it. I'm like, and there's the end. I honestly got teary. I'm not gonna lie.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Okay, all right.
But I was like, this is freaking cool. Like I'm watching a movie that's a good remake. Well, it's not a remake. It's a good sequel, I guess. And I'm watching it with my kids who are appreciating it, and they like the originals too. And I love the originals, and I even like the female Ghostbusters. I liked it. It got a bad rap, but I thought it was good too. And
I
I'm like,
see it.
Didn't either.
it's pretty good, and it
I'm
kind of got
vaguely
poo-pooed.
remembering it.
And I don't know why, because it's a pretty fun movie.
Well, I think the reason it got trashed on is just that the concept was we need a female version
Yeah,
of this. And
I,
it was just the whole
I think that clouded
why.
the fact that it was a pretty decent movie.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah. But I mean, it's good, and it's good. It's a good movie.
I'm excited, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what I said to my boys. I want to go see it just
Yeah.
so I can feel like a kid again.
I felt cool.
It was like when
it's a
the
cool moment.
the next wave of Star Wars movies came out. It
Yeah.
was just like the warm fuzzies of like in anticipation of it. I know we have different
And then Jar Jar
feelings of-
Binks.
right. but the build up to it
Sure.
was like,
Oh, it was
I
awesome.
feel like I'm
Yeah.
7.
It was cool.
Oh, that wave of Star Wars movies. Because there's been like multiple
several
waves
waves.
now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just mean, the what was the first? 1, 2, and 3 when they came out.
Right. That's the ones you're talking about.
Yeah,
and
because
then
it was
Jar
the
Jar
first
Binks.
in a long time, yeah.
And then you got Jar Jar Binks, and we're like, oh, crap.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I was like, this is cool.
Well, good.
Cool moment. Cool
a lot of
movie.
fun.
They did a good job. Good job, people who did that movie.
Good job, you people.
Thank you for making something that's not stupid. Like so many movies now. Yeah. Last night I watched a Tom Hanks movie. It's a Western called News of the World. I had never even heard of. It wasn't bad.
Can't place it.
It
You wouldn't
seems
be
like
able to.
maybe I've heard of it.
It wasn't bad.
I was like, what did I watch with Tom Hanks recently? Oh, Saving Private Ryan. I watched
That's a good
that'll
one.
talk about crying watching a movie.
I watched that one.
That's a good one.
Boy, that Omaha beach scene. Holy cow.
I mean, they just hit you right out of the gate.
They really do. They really do. But I'd also just watched a Band of Brothers, so I was ready for it.
Got
Well, I
your
was-
warm up in.
But yeah, you're ready. Your soul was ready for the shock. Well, it was like I'm watching this Western last night, and I will say they probably did a good job of depicting the West, how disgusting and awful it really was. Let's not get romantic about it. It would have been really crappy.
Hard.
Everything
Everything was hard.
and there were like no laws, and there were some people trying to be, the law, but they weren't really professionals. So, and they did a good job of depicting that. And I'm like, again, these are problems we don't really have. I don't know.
These problems are common to all humanity.
Yeah. So it
Imagine
was
that.
interesting, but I don't know. So it was good. And we watched Grumpy Old Men too over the weekend.
That's a
Love that
good one.
movie.
I haven't watched those. I probably
Really?
need to watch it. I know.
They're pretty great.
I don't think we can be friends until you watch those movies, especially now.
Yeah. You would appreciate it even more
I
now.
think
You'd
I
be
probably
like,
would.
yes, these people get me.
That's right.
You need to watch
I like
it.
Gran Torino.
Oh,
It's the funny version of Gran
It
Torino.
is, yeah.
Gran
Torino's a
Torino was
great movie.
hilarious.
It is.
It's a great yeah.
It was really funny.
Talk about abrasive. That movie. Like I sat there, like clenched up, watching it, going, "This is really good." But I feel really uncomfortable.
Oh,
And
man.
by the end of it, I'm like, "Wow, that's one of the best
That's an
movies I've
epic
seen
movie.
in a
Gran Torino's
long,
an
long
epic
time."
movie.
Yeah.
Here we are talking about movies, and Tom's not even here.
I know.
We
Well,
always circle back.
I told Lauren I was
Those
wearing
are
my,
alive.
my New England crabfisher
It
uniform
doesn't
today.
look crabby. We got the flannels, and the crab.
Cozy, crabby.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's the last day of November, so
Is
Is
it?
it tomorrow?
today.
What is?
Oh, yeah,
today the
'cause
30th?
tomorrow's the
Oh,
first.
Sure
Should
is.
be November 30th.
It is. I think it's the 29th. Well, Monday's my day off, so
That's true.
I checked out. I'm back.
We have a Christmas parade on
I was getting
Saturday.
ready to say, so Christmas parade is this Saturday. There's lots of, winter sports are picking up, wrestling,
Yes,
basketball,
basketball starting.
boys and girls.
I think Emma's bringing the trailer to my house sometime this week.
I wondered about that, if you guys had arranged the trailer situation.
so.
This is for the K-ROG.
K-ROG
Float.
We got a
featuring
recommendation of Finch.
for
My mother-in-law likes that.
Yeah, Finch.
So we'll give that a try.
Interesting. But yeah, so
So where do you want me to bring the trailer?
You can bring it to my house. That's what I'm thinking.
Like when like Saturday morning?
I guess.
So what
about
time?
6 a.m.
For our listeners,
No.
what time is the parade on Saturday?
It's
1.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
I don't know I bet we have to line up around noon. I need to check with Lori.
Yep. And last year we threw out toilet paper,
We did.
and we're not saying this year what we're throwing out.
No.
Cheer for sure. We're throwing out a lot of
We're
cheer.
throwing a cheer. I
Christmas
got to
cheer.
decorate a big box.
I can see what I'm seeing now is those little boxes of cheer detergent coming out of
Wham!
Don't eat these.
Don't eat
Don't
it.
eat that.
Don't
That's
eat
not food.
Tide Pods.
What was that thing about teenagers? Their brains clicking.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the whole Tide Pod thing is a key argument for that case.
How long ago was that? Was it 3 or 4 years ago?
Was it? Probably.
That needs to be erased from history.
I literally, when we were putting up our Christmas tree this year, I was thinking, didn't we just take this down?
For sure.
It feels like we just took this thing down, and now we're putting it back up again.
This is how it works. We do this
Life
once a
goes
year.
quick.
I know
and,
that,
And the
but
older you get, the faster the year goes by.
Ain't that the truth?
I say it all the time.
I
but
just
I've
remember
discovered
being a
it's
little
true.
kid and feeling like the year was like a long,
Forever.
long time.
Yeah.
I remember like we'd drive from Houston to Mountain Grove and I'd be like, oh, 7 days.
Long trip. Are
This
we
is
there
a 7,
yet?
and I get car sick on
Are
the
we
way because
there
I was that
yet?
kid that got car sick everywhere. I still do.
Well, it's interesting because you think about, I remember thinking about, in high school, it's like, oh, do you want to, go to the military for a few years or go to college? And just think, that's like 4 years.
Yeah.
It's like 4 whole years. It's forever. And like, 4 years. And it's like, okay, no biggie. I could have done that for a couple of years. It wouldn't have been any big deal.
I had a conversation with my mom yesterday about how having children drastically changes your perspective on life.
It does.
Because so I was always somebody that was a night owl and slept in, and like the jobs I had for 10 years, sometimes I worked late and sometimes I worked early. So there'd be days where I literally slept till noon, right? But I also would stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning. I was just night owl forever. And so then if I had to get up at 6 a.m. during that time frame, I mean, it would ruin my whole week. I would stress about it and be upset about it and be like, I got to get up at 6 a.m. on Thursday. I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, I got 3 hours of sleep. Great.
That'll do.
That was awesome.
I actually had that thought this morning because sometimes on Monday nights into Tuesday I don't sleep well, and so
Good one, Beth.
but if
I think so.
If I get 3 hours, but it was a good 3 hours, I can function. But if I tossed and turned all night, then I'm just dead for the day, the week. It just destroys me.
This Drew St. John cat sounds like he knows you, Lauren.
He's my buddy.
20-year
He's a
reunion.
Houstonite. Wow. 20 year. Is that right? Yep. Yes, it is. That'd be next year.
I had to think about that.
I think I'm working on 35.
I was gonna say I'm closer to 30.
Yeah. I think
But seriously, how did that happen?
my 30's come and gone.
I'm like, wait, 20 years? And then I'm like, wait, I've been out of college for, since 05, however many years that is. What?
Well, do you remember being in high school and they would say something about the class of they're celebrating their 30th class
you're like,
reunion?
So old.
I know, you're just like, oh, wow.
Well,
How old are you?
Yeah.
I remember
I've been out of law school for 25 years.
I remember as a teenager seeing people who were like 40 and being like, oh, okay, you're 40. Wow. And now I'm like, I'm getting close to being one of those people.
Do you remember the show way back when called 30-somethings? That was a very popular show. It was a very popular show called 30-somethings. It was in the 80s. And I'm like, oh, 30-something. Yeah, that's like adult people, old adult people.
Yeah, like adults.
I'm like, no, they're kids.
They're babies.
30-years are kids.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll take that.
So Shayna came home yesterday. She always has funny stories from school, with kindergarten and first graders.
That you can't talk about.
Can't in specifics, but I can share this in generality. And she did.
I get
right?
warned repeatedly.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So especially on air.
It's like, I can't believe we talked about
She's
that.
in her Nutcracker unit. Going into
I thought you were going to say costume.
No. Tchaikovsky. She teaches every year during Christmas, and it's like her favorite. Jeez. So anyway, moving on.
Die. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to keep it clean for the kids. Wow.
Yeah, but I was drinking coffee,
Oh,
right?
fair.
when you
Oh,
said
man.
that.
Fair enough. So anyway, she's talking about this, and one of the kids said, "Mrs. Ballard, were you alive when Tchaikovsky was?" No, and she goes, "No, I would have to be older than your mama, your mima, or something like that." And one of the kids got fixated on that. She's like, "Miss Ballard, there's no way you're older than my mima." And she told me the story, and I looked at her and I said, "They're 5 and 6, right?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "You and I are very close to the age of their grandparents, right? Like, if at mid-40s,
Oh, you are.
we're way closer to grandparent age than she realized." And she's like, "I know, I already thought of it. Shut up."
Oh, that is funny.
Oh, fun times.
Oh, yeah. I
That
was
day
like,
you wake up and realize you're the old person in the room.
Well, we've all got people we went to high school with. I mean, well, I do. Maybe you don't yet.
No,
Chris.
I do.
They're grandparents.
Yeah, they're
oh, I do.
grandparents.
Yeah,
they're
I do.
grandparents. Yeah.
Because I was like, holy crap. What I think it was this year somebody I knew that I went to school with turned to a grandparent. I was like,
I'm not ready for this.
what? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
moly.
you see people that you graduate with posting kids of their grandkids, posting pics of their grandkids. You're like,
No.
okay.
No, we are. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
and it's we joke about it at our house, but I'll look at my son. I'll be like, "Hey, you need to shave." Why? It's Thursday. It's like, because I want to be a grandpa someday. That's why. That's like kind of our joke. Hey, you need to put on a nice shirt. Why? Because I want to be a grandpa someday.
Oh, my gosh.
They just roll their eyes.
Yeah,
But
I can
laugh.
only imagine. Well, we were reading about that too over the weekend, though, that the birth rate is dropping pretty significantly in the U.S. And some people aren't having kids. A lot of people are just having
Right.
one kid. And so, yeah, you really got.
Well, it's your generation that started that, right? The millennials waited. You're a
I'm
millennial,
sure.
right?
Yeah, I'm very, I'm the.
You're an old
You're
millennial.
I'm an
almost
old
an
millennial,
Xer, yeah.
potentially zennial.
Yeah, but the idea of just waiting until you're 30 and then maybe just having one
But
child.
that's what this article said, that the average motherhood age is 30.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what?
I think while we were married and having kids, the goal was to really kind of have all your kids before you were 30 or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's hit me, like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I get it. Because I was a youth pastor for 18 years, and I would wonder, why these parents seem so checked out? Like, be with your kids, be in the moment, And now my kids are teenagers, and I'm like, I'm so tired. I can't imagine going through this in my 50s with teenagers because
Yeah.
I waited so long, It's like, I'm so
I think
tired
there's
right
good.
now.
I think there's good and bad to both ways
There
of
is.
doing it.
Because there's wisdom that you have later.
Yeah, you have wisdom, and you should be more financially sound.
Right.
If you're having kids at 30 versus 20, and
But so many of these people
But
that
I'm
wait
so
till they're
tired.
30, they spent their 20s being morons.
Right. They don't have any
extended
Adolescence,
adolescence,
yeah.
and so they're not any
Yeah.
wiser.
and don't have any more money to show for it.
Yeah, and now they're just bummed that they're old and I don't know. I don't think it's a great idea. But the other thing that I've noticed is when we were having kids, having a big-ish family was pretty in vogue. So 3, 4 kids, at least 2 was kind of what people were really kind of seeming to aim for. Most people in my generation have 2 or 3 kids, if not 4. So the idea that we just want one is I don't know. But I think
foreign to my
I'll just
thinking.
go my grumpy old man way and just say I think that's a generational trait of the inherent selfishness of millennials.
okay, I'm going to counterpoint this though.
I think that's what it is. It's like we
So
don't want to have
here's-
kids
There
because
is
it takes
something to that, but I do want to hear what you're
Okay,
saying.
so here's my take on it. And I talked to my mom. My mom had this, and I had this conversation yesterday. So now both parents have to work, default, right? My mom stayed home when the kids were young, and that's the only thing that allowed her to have 3 children, right? And then when she was able to work, or in between time she worked and stuff, and then when we got older in school, she was able to work full time. There is no freaking way now that 2 people can not have to work in a household unless somebody just has real high income, right? Or they just don't give a crap. And they
Well, that's the thing is that some people, I don't think it's don't give a crap, but it's like
it's a decision.
It's a decision.
It's a decision.
We're going to homeschool our kids. We're going to have 7 kids, and only dad is working. Mom's going to stay and teach the kids, and we're going to just do without some of the normal
Yeah, and I
American
said that the wrong
things.
way.
No,
I'm sorry,
know.
that sounded offensive, and I didn't mean to do that. But So so now if you, like, I was lucky to have my mom to help with the kids. I think every day if I didn't have my mom, we would
100%.
have spent so much in daycare, so much time getting them there, because it's not just the income thing. It's the health insurance nightmare where somebody's got to have health insurance, and it's somebody's got to have, sick pay. Somebody's got to have whatever it takes to do it. And my mom will say this. She's like, it is way harder to have children now than it was when I had kids.
I can believe that's true. I think that's true. Now, we had the benefit. We live on a family farm. We live on the compound. So we had my parents were always there. So we have that whole extended family that helps. Everything that we do is helpful. But I think what Chris was getting at, I don't mean to speak for you, but I mean, I agree, is it's a decision. People feel like they have to, both spouses have to work because they think we've got to have 2 cars, we've got to have this nice house, we've got to have all these things, we have to have all this stuff. And when you really sit down and boil it down to, do we really, really need all those things? Maybe you don't.
Well, I don't know.
Well, every family is unique, right?
Sure.
It's your own situation. But yeah, some are finding a way to make it work with less.
And there are. And I mean, they do, and they make it work. And but the mom is also, or let's say the mom is staying home, because some dads stay home too. The mom is still obviously working, raising the children,
Absolutely.
but a lot of times now she's doing side gigs, like she's doing photography, or she is selling something on Etsy, or she is doing, I mean, there's all
Plexus.
these side, Plexus. There's all these side things that they're doing now, but they still have to be working to make ends meet. So, I mean, health insurance was not $800 a month when you guys were raising children.
Right.
It just wasn't. And like my parents never had health insurance. They were small business owners. And at the time they weighed risk reward. Now you can't really get by with that.
Well, the government was less involved when we were
A ding,
That's true.
And
That's
so
100%.
anytime the government's buying something, prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
And so that's why Medicaid, Medicare has caused our healthcare system to go nuts, is because the government's injecting money into it, so everybody can charge more. So it just goes crazy.
Well, I mean, too, it's like there's all these elements now that make being a parent more difficult. You're expected to be involved in activities. You're expected to have a certain standard of life. You're expected to show up at work and at school and at activities and take your kid to club sports and take your kid to band or send your kid to space camp. I mean, and there's all these influences on your parenting.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I tell my mom, it's way harder to parent now. You used to be pretty isolated on what your kid was exposed to. They were exposed to the people around them. Now you're constantly battling exposure to stuff. It's a freaking nightmare.
Earlier
it's
this
a
morning,
freaking nightmare. It's
because
awful.
I used to pride myself on being able to. I just was culturally aware, and I studied culture because I was working with teenagers, and I feel like, and I'm 7 years removed from that world, and I still try to keep up.
Yeah.
But there's so much coming. I cannot. I can't study it all because it's coming so fast and from so many different streams. Like, YouTube is what the kids watch now. They don't even watch TV really. And there's new guys popping up every day, and there's nobody out there monitoring that content.
No.
There's nobody that can.
No.
It's just too vast.
Well, and there's the kids come home talking about games that their friends played, and like Roblox
Yeah.
is one that's like a Minecraft deal. And I was looking up last night, like, what is this? Because they were talking something about Roblox, and I'm pretty strict in my house about it, which is hence the argument yesterday about what.
And how old are you two?
Yeah, 7 and 6.
Yeah.
About screen time.
Yep.
And it is an absolute nightmare. And you understand this because they're still in school. Yours, I mean, are pretty well grown, but still accessible to this. I feel like at this age that mine are, like, they can be screwed up for life if I'm not real careful.
100%. And I'm blown away when parents are totally unaware of what their kids are doing on their phones.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Like one of mine said to me, "Hey, Dad, you see that post?" He posted to Instagram, and I was like, "Yeah, cool post. Just don't do it during 6th hour. You need to be paying attention." That's the world we live in. And my kids will tell you, like, you guys have held us back from what most of our peers, have been able to do. We didn't let them have social media accounts until, my daughter still doesn't.
Good.
And boys were 16.
I mean,
and
it's torture for girls.
It was purely for being recruited to play college sports.
Yeah.
So they have their highlight reels and whatever. So anyway, we still monitor very closely what they post. There's times where I've said, hey, you need to delete that. Why? Well, because the background music on that doesn't portray a good image for you. And great video, put another song on there.
Yeah.
And, there's times they get annoyed that I don't care. As a parent, I'm not there to make sure they always like me. I'm there for their benefit to help them, to guide them through
I tell them all the
this
time,
world.
I'm not being mean to you. I'm parenting you.
I just love you.
I'm parenting you.
Yep.
Like, that's my job.
Yep.
It's tricky.
Tough gig we got.
I don't know. And I mean, I think that's why, because I can tell you, I have a lot of friends that are very responsible people that when I see them, my cousins and stuff, that we all have these little kids, it's like, holy crap, this is really stinking hard. And it's always been hard, but now I think it's ratcheted up to a different level of almost impossible to do it right, or to raise, I mean, you're always going to have these, crazy situations, but to raise good, like, healthy, normal kids, because it's an uphill battle.
Yeah,
you have a lot of stuff working against you. I mean, back in the day, people were giving you a consistent message. My grandma was correcting me the same way my mom would. Yep. The people at church were correcting me. My teachers were correcting me the same way that my mom would. And now you don't have that.
No.
Well, and the insidious thing I think about all this is the message that I think creeps in, even from people that you think would know better, that everybody deserves a voice. Everybody, you need to listen, you need to expose yourself, you need to listen, and I kind of want to go, you really don't.
No, she's 6. She doesn't need to hear that opinion right now.
Right. Yes, because I didn't when I was 6, and I mean, it's just... It's really hard. It's really hard.
A lot of competing worldviews.
Well, and you look, and we think that we're insulated here, and I think in Rogersville to a large extent we still are, but we are a bedroom community of Springfield, and Springfield is a problem. We're national news in Springfield for the CRT.
Right.
That we don't know that they're teaching in the classrooms, but the administration is teaching their teachers
to teach this
about critical race theory, which is Marxism, which is racism, which is a really destructive.
It's very destructive.
Very destructive.
I know little about it, but
out in Virginia, they say, parents, you stay out of it. We've got it. We'll teach your kids.
When I read that news article and it said the state's suing them because they wouldn't provide the documents, that is a enormous issue.
Yeah, and Springfield wouldn't. They said, show us what you're teaching, and Springfield said no.
Yes.
And so they got sued, as well they should.
You're 100%. Here to serve the parents in these families.
Well, and
You're not here to take over for these families.
Yeah. First of all, I don't think that the government ever should have gotten involved in education. Education historically was the province of parents and the church.
Yeah.
All of our schools, all of our universities were church buildings. They started church. And then the government came in and said, we're going to do education. And then guess what people said? Well, now religion can't be in there because that's interfering with government separation of church and state. I'm like, no.
You just made up that term.
Government invaded the church's province and then said, you have to get out.
Right.
Which is wrong. It's a completely...
let's also say, when you say government, federal government.
Federal government.
Because the local... government should be, if we're going to have public school, they should be the ones.
And that is where I land, is that, if you want to, as a community, come together and have a privately funded school that's supported by your community, I get that. But then we're like, well, let's get the state involved. Well, let's get the federal government involved. And now we've got this huge, colossal waste of money.
And now it becomes about, how do we get more federal funds to fund the school? Right. And that's what disturbs me.
Because then you start playing games to get the funding. Which can, at times, and we've seen it, supersede the educational process.
If you'll put this curriculum in, then we'll give you a grant.
Right.
To teach this curriculum. And that's a big problem.
And understand, these... Two husbands of teacher wives, like
in public schools.
Public schools. So we're not anti-public school. Very much in favor of. We love our local school, but there are a lot of hoops that they have to go through that they shouldn't have to go through.
Well, this is one of the reasons why in 2004, I think, we founded the Logan Rogersville Educational Foundation, and I've not been involved with it for probably 10 years now. After I I got off the board. I was no longer president. But the point of that was to try to provide enough local funding that we had a little more autonomy. So I mean, I'm a big fan of locally funding schools. So, a superintendent can go, that's not good for our kids and our community. And no, we're not going to teach that. And no, you can pull the funds.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because we're not going to do
our
that.
community will help anyway.
Exactly. So that's where we want to be. And so there is a bond issue coming up for the school.
Yeah.
And I would encourage you to support it. Locally supporting schools is
100%.
a good thing. So
That
when
would
that comes
do-
up on the ballot, I think you should support that.
Well, and I mean,
is that next?
I don't really know.
Fall?
I just know
Think
it's
next fall?
I know it's coming.
We'll have to get
Either in the spring or
have
the
to
fall.
get Sean back on at some point.
And we will. We'll get him on
Friday show or
on a
something.
Friday show. He'll be back on here soon, I'm sure. So, 8:30.
Oh, it's time.
Shut it down.
I got work to do.
again, we covered a
Come to the
plethora
parade.
of
Come see the parade. A lot of content.
A lot of content.
A lot of content.
Hey, and last thing, you can celebrate Christmas now. Thanksgiving's over.
That's right.
So you early celebrators.
What's the radio station that has the Christmas music? What's the number?
KGBX, KTXR.
I don't know.
KTXR doesn't exist anymore, does
I
it?
need to find it.
Okay.
Anyway, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
See you later.